Hello, my name is Andrew Cotronea, and I'm the CSTEP coordinator here at SUNY Polytechnic Institute. I would like to start by welcoming you all to today's CSTEP presentation and to give an overview of what we'll be discussing today. But before we jump into today's presentation, I'd like to introduce myself and offer a bit of background. As I mentioned, I serve as the CSTEP coordinator here at SUNY Poly, and before joining the Wildcat family about 2 years ago, I previously served as a CSTEP advisor at Mohawk Valley Community College. Furthermore, I'm a graduate of SUNY University at Buffalo, and I'm a big proponent of the SUNY system and all of the opportunities that an education and degree from SUNY has to offer. I was born and raised locally in the Utica-Rome area, so I know about all the different companies, organizations, and resources that are available in the area. So if you have any questions at all about how to find internships, scholarships, or you just want to know what there is to do around here, feel free to write down your questions and email or ask me at any time. And with that, let's jump into today's presentation. So a quick overview of what the agenda is going to look like today. We're going to talk about the big picture behind CSTEP while taking a look at our vision and mission statements. And then we'll explore who's eligible for CSTEP. And with regards to eligibility, we'll talk about the CSTEP approved majors, as well as different pathways that lead to New York State licensed professionals. We'll move on to discuss CSTEP resources, benefits, and other opportunities that we want all of our students to get involved with. And lastly, we'll see some of the amazing projects that CSTEP students are involved with, so you can get a better idea of what CSTEP is really all about. All right, without further ado, let's get started. In this slide, I'd like to introduce you to our mission statement. But first, a quick history of CSTEP. CSTEP, or the Collegiate Science Technology Entry Program, was founded in 1986 when the New York State Legislature passed an amendment to the education law that authorized the use of funding for CSTEP through the Department of Education. The purpose of the program is to increase access for minority and disadvantaged students to academic programs that lead to New York State licensed professions or employment in the scientific, technical, and health fields. Moreover, CSTEP has a sister program called STEP, which is the Science Technology Entry Program, which serves students in grades 8 through 12 and prepares them for college and university and beyond. Lastly, it's important to know that CSTEP is located on 55 different college campuses across the state. So please look into many of the other CSTEP sister programs offered at all different institutions and colleges. If you're not sure if a school has the program at their campus, I encourage you to call and ask them, or you can email me if you have any specific school in mind, and we can help connect you to the program at that school. So the mission of CSTEP. The mission of CSTEP is to increase the number of historically underrepresented minorities and economically disadvantaged students, both undergraduate and graduate, who complete pre-professional or professional education programs that lead to professional licensure and careers in STEM and New York State licensed professions. Now that you know a little bit more about us, let me tell you about our eligibility requirements. These are the guidelines for CSTEP eligibility as set forth by the New York State Department of Education. Please feel free to take a screenshot of this, and also know that we'll discuss this a little bit more in detail in further slides. As I mentioned, there are New York State eligibility guidelines as described by the Department of Education. And for reference, if you're wondering if you fall into that category, I'd like you to take a screenshot of this and make a reference of the different household dependents and the income guidelines for that household number. If you're not sure and you'd like to ask a little bit more, please feel free to take a screenshot of this and reach out to me directly, and I can explain a little bit more about these guidelines. I always encourage students and families to just apply and let that application go through, and we can go through and verify the rest of the information. In this slide, we see the CSTEP approved majors. I'm not going to go and read off each individual major, but it's important to know that CSTEP incorporates and encompasses all STEM majors. So if you don't see your major here, but you feel that it's a major that leads to a New York State licensed profession, let us know, because there's alternative pathways that might not be listed here. It's important to know that you may still qualify if you're pursuing another profession, but you chose a pathway that you don't see on these lists made. So, as I mentioned, if you are pursuing any of the New York State licensed professions, then you would qualify for the purposes of CSTEP. These are interactive links, so feel free to click on any of these links and explore the profession and understand the pathway that's involved in getting to that point. And this is really the bread and butter of CSTEP. We want to help design and develop a 1 year plan, a 3 year plan, and a 5 year plan so that when you graduate, we know you're going to hit the ground running and be successful in college and beyond. I mentioned our mission statement, and I'd like to mention our vision statement. This is the CSTEP Scholar Pledge because it combines different elements of both the mission and vision statement of CSTEP. And we read this annually at the CSTEP conference in Lake George. And it's a really powerful moment. So I'd like to share this with you. Today, as we connect the vision embedded in CSTEP to a world in transition, we commit to be a learning community dedicated to empowering and transforming our lives and the lives of others. This vision provides the motivation and energy for bringing about a humane world, one that welcomes commonalities and cherishes the wealth of diversity found among our different community cultures. Using our collective knowledge and experience, we seek to advance social justice and protect human rights by valuing and nurturing the expansion of learning, intellectual inquiry, critical thinking, and community service. And really, you can condense much of our vision and mission statements into developing the C-step mentality and creating your own destiny and using your growth mindset to help get you to that goal. So you see here, there's an acronym for C-step that we'd like to use that really encompasses the growth mindset. And when you approach life with a growth mindset, you understand that your abilities can be developed. They are not fixed as what they are. Practice makes perfect. But more importantly, practice with change leads to growth. So as you can see, C-STEP stands for commit to your own success, seek opportunities and resources, transform your dreams into accomplishments, empower yourself through enrichment, and push yourself beyond your challenges. We try and instill this in all of our C-STEPs students. You can think of the growth mindset like this. So we talked about the mission statement and the vision statement, and now I'd like to introduce you to really the benefits and resources that C-STEP has to offer. C-STEP provides academic enrichment and research experience in STEM content areas. So the project works on developing research and internship methods, working to help you graduate or get to graduate school or professional school, as well as prepare for the standardized exams that might come with that. And that includes getting your application ready for graduate school, mentoring, connecting, networking, and making sure you're taking the right steps to prepare yourself, both professionally, personally, for the long run and beyond. We'd like to encourage C-STEP students to use these benefits and support services while remaining engaged and active in the program, both on campus and off campus. So we mentioned some of the benefits of C-STEP, but here's a lot of additional resources that C-STEP offers in addition to different support services on campus. So C-STEP goes and hires students for peer and professional tutoring. So if you're taking some of those gateway courses, math, calc, pre-calc, um, engineering, physics, biology, we are there to help. We can hire professional tutors, or we can work with the faculty directly to ensure that they're carving out some time to meet with our students directly. Additionally, we partner with different campus departments on campus, including the Learning Center as well as the Career Services Office, to offer academic and different career workshops. We also take trips to go and visit industries and different companies in the area, and we also take trips to go and visit graduate schools and professional schools that students are interested in. Moreover, we help students as they're going through that internship, research, and job search. We want to be there to help them and guide through the personal statement, through the resume, and through the networking opportunities that they have. And this happens both as individual sessions and additionally group sessions. So I mentioned the growth and fixed mindset. And you can see in the top right corner, There are real big differences when it comes to a student with a growth mindset and a student with a fixed mindset. And it is not the end all be all. We would like to encourage students to take advantage of the opportunities and resources that CSTEP has to offer and start to explore what it means to have a growth mindset. In addition to working with different departments on campus, we also take trips. We go on tours to go to conferences and academic competitions. We go out to field trips in the community. We'll take trips to the New York Power Authority and different organizations on campus and off campus. And moreover, CSTEP offers financial support. So when you're applying for grad school or you're preparing for that MCAT or GRE or ECAT or any of these types of exams, we want to be there to support you. And we know that these applications don't come cheap. So CSTEP is able to support your education both financially and academically in a variety of different areas. So I'd like to show you this brief video because it really helps to demonstrate what the growth mindset looks like in action. Here we go.
The main product that we've got at the moment, one of them is called Mechamon. So it's an entertainment platform. It's an experience in itself where we're combining robotics, augmented reality and video gaming to basically give you a video game character in real life. Reach Robotics, we are currently a company of about 40 people, and our mission is we use robotics technology to create a product that entertain, inspire and educate people. Where this idea and this journey started was actually during my degree at UWI. So from the very first year I'd been going into schools teaching young people about robotics and working that into their curriculum. There was a moment where I realized that you could take gaming principles, combine it with robotics to make a product that's different to anything else that's out there. And that was where that spark started. The future for Reach Robotics is really taking the amazing products that we've built, continuing to improve that, but taking it to more people. So at the moment we've launched with Apple. So in the UK and US, this year we'll go a bit wider in terms of starting to reach more global. What I'd be most thankful to you for would be the opportunity, creating an environment that gives you opportunity and allows you to take advantage of that opportunity as well. You know, from the second year when I started the programs in schools to the third year when I was looking at the company and getting advice from the right people and getting the grants and then the space to work out of and then the connections. Once opportunity is there, you can then decide what you want to do with it. But if the opportunity isn't there and it isn't done in a kind of fair way, no matter how brilliant you are, how hungry, how ambitious you are, you'll never be able to do anything with it. So opportunity will be what I'm most grateful for.
Truly inspiring story that really captures the opportunity you have to be the change that you'd like to see in the world and to really leave a legacy that not only improves your life, but innovates and improves the lives of others. This is the growth mindset at work. As you can see here, CSTEP students are leaders on campus. They take on a variety of different roles, including as peer mentors, or as club members, or as student government members. They also take on roles as interns, researchers, and they volunteer all around campus. You can see our CSTEP students here in their natural habitats, kind of doing what they do best. The students on the right are showing off the Baja that they built and take to competition each year to compete against other schools. This Baja project is a student-led club and organization that involves researching, planning, marketing, budgeting, and much, much more. So it's important to know that anybody can join these clubs. You don't have to be an engineering student. You can come from any major. This is our CSTEP club president, Matt, who is presenting the research that we just showed you in the previous slide. all the research that went into designing and creating and manufacturing and prototyping that Baja vehicle. And there was a lot of research that went into this. He worked on steering geometry, he worked on tensile strength, he worked on materials and different strengths. And it's important to realize that what you're doing in the classroom has an impact and is very important for your personal, professional, and career growth as well. So in this slide, you can see CSTEP students getting their feet wet by studying water quality in the Mohawk River. In this picture, you see students conducting research through the Department of Environmental Conservation, led by a civil engineering faculty member on campus, Dr. Carolyn Rodak. CSTEP students are not afraid to get their hands dirty. As you can see, not all research is done in the lab. The students in this picture traveled from site to site testing water quality to ensure that it's safe for recreational purposes and it's safe for our members of our community to use and enjoy. Here you see one of our CSTEP and EOP students, a young Arop, as she presents her chemistry research that explores the use of ritaxans for novel therapies and other medical uses. Each year, students conduct research and present it at different conferences alongside their peers. This student was recently accepted to dental school and is excited to carry on her studies at Mahari School of Dentistry in HBCU in Tennessee. Congratulations, Young. In this slide, you can see CSTEP students conducting cutting-edge research with the Masonic Medical Research Institute in Utica, New York. The two students are both applying to medical school this year, and the research they are working on relates directly to cardiac medicine. This is an amazing opportunity to contribute to the medical profession and make a difference all while studying for medical school. You can see the students were honored with awards, and what you don't see here is the mayor of Utica showed up to congratulate them on the work they're doing and the difference they're making in our community. Here you see our students being recognized for their research projects at our annual CSTEP Research Conference in Lake George, New York, in the Adirondacks. That is the ethos of CSTEP as you see here. Research, present, publish, repeat. We want to build habits. We want to build successful habits. And this is what we work on in CSTEP. CSTEP students make it a point to reach back into the community, to make sure they're building a ladder for others to climb. CSTEP students participate in an annual day of service, which involves our students going into high schools and middle schools and helping to develop a college vine for others to learn from. As you can see here, this is one of the many days of service that CSTEP participated in at Mohawk Valley Community College with a group of high schools from all throughout Oneida County. Our CSTEP students are proud to give back, and it's part of what we do. So, as I mentioned before, CSTEP students are both leaders on campus and in their communities. Here you see our students teaching robotics at Proctor High School in Utica, New York. CSTEP students helped to launch a first robotics team at Proctor High School called the Proctor Raiderbot. The students learn robotics in a hands-on environment, which allows them to explore, create, and design robots. The students then go on to compete against other robotics teams to try and get the championship event, which is held at SUNY Poly every year. It is important to note that SUNY Poly recognizes the value of robotics and offers students a robotics scholarship if they participated in robotics programs while in high school or middle school. This is a big deal because it helps to cut the cost of education while gaining valuable career skills. Please feel free to ask any questions you might have related to SUNY Poly scholarships and how to apply for them. We'd be happy to help direct you to the right office. In this slide, you can see many ways that CSTEP students give back to their communities. Here you see CSTEP students filling Thanksgiving bags full of Thanksgiving food to distribute to those who are most in need in our communities. We know how important it is to give back and serve those who are less fortunate. It is part of the DNA of CSTEP to give back and to serve. This is another one of our CSTEP Day of Services, where you can see our Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management, Mary Beth Lyons, where she joins us, both CSTEP and EOP, as we organize and distribute warm clothes during the cold winter months. Again, giving back is in CSTEP's DNA. We talk a lot about CSTEP Day of Service, the research students are doing, but now I'd like to show you some of the internships that CSTEP students are doing. and what they're doing during their semester months and during the summer months. So this student identified a problem with battery pollution. He realized that batteries are not always properly recycled. And most importantly, on our campus at SUNY Poly, there was no way to properly recycle the batteries. So he developed a research project to not only collect, organize, sort, and collect the batteries, but also to make sure that they're not ending up in our landfills and our waterways, and that they're going to recycled factories to make sure that they're not ending up polluting our environment. CSTEP students are actively applying to research and internship positions to ensure that they're making progress towards their personal and professional and career goals. And this is what we mean. We mentioned a lot about research and volunteering, but CSTEP offers internships, and we know how important internships are for student success. I always tell students to apply to as many positions as they can. We've all heard the expression, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that is 100% true. Please make sure to apply yourself and never sell yourself short by not applying. On top of that, we know employers want to see experience as well as a degree, and this slide has a funny way of showing that. So you can see some of the many places that CSTEP students have interned, including New York Power Authority, Brookhaven National Laboratory, Department of Transportation, CRE, Mohawk Valley Health Systems, General Electric, Ladders for Leaders, Modern Robotics, PPC, Masonic Medical Research Institute, and much, much more. So before we wrap up for the day, I want to reiterate many of the CSTEP benefits I mentioned earlier and emphasize that joining CSTEP is like joining a family. We look out for one another and always push each other to be the best we can be. CSTEP benefits include enhanced public speaking skills through workshops, public outreach, volunteering, day of service events, and much more. Plus, you get involved on campus. You really start to engage with your education. We have CSTEP students who are involved in poly leads and student government and all different organizations on campus. Plus, you really have an amazing opportunity to connect with mentors and network in your professional field. And on top of that, CSTEP loves to travel and do really fun stuff and have a good time doing it. In CSTEP, we celebrate each and every individual, no matter our differences. We are a family that celebrates the happiness and cherishes the diversity in our communities. I like this quote because it shows that education is changing to include a diverse and bright future that is more inclusive and respectful of each other's differences. And it's important, again, we celebrate diversity, we cherish individuality. And with that, I really encourage you all to join the CSTEP family, apply yourself, get involved, and carpe diem, take advantage of every day, seize the day. And with that, I would like to thank you all for participating in today's CSTEP presentation, and I encourage you all to reach out to me anytime. Here's my contact information and the office phone number as well. So thank you all for joining me today. I really encourage you, if nothing else, please submit an application to CSTEP, get involved, and if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. It was a pleasure to speak with all of you today. I look forward to seeing you on campus. Have a nice day.